And we are live. Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday, and that means that it's time for the sisters interview. I am Ashaxi, and this is my sister Sarifian, and we come from On Tier.
Why are you talking like that?
I don't know.
She needs a magic mirror.
It's been a weird day.
Okay.
Hey, that's Lachlan. Welcome, Lachlan. Lachlan MacLean, Lion on Tier, Knight of the Realm. And
It's MacLean.
MacLean, like Shirley MacLaine. I've been calling you the ambassador of joy.
Oh,
I
nice.
think that's a good one for him.
Thank you very much. I'll take that.
Like the
I'll
West
take that.
Kingdom has the paragon of merriment that they give, right?
Do they really?
Yeah, they have an award called I think, maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Anyway,
you're probably
so
right.
I'm calling you the ambassador of joy.
I'll take that.
Awesome. So
I'll do
Lachlan, it's your night tonight. You're up on the sisters interview.
Holy cow.
What
Hi.
is your SCA origin story? How did you find the SCA and what got you interested?
So first, greetings to the sisters, both steel slingers, word keepers, silent screaming Rifkin, memory chroniclers, both of you. I would say both of you finding delight as the world bent Hugin and Munin, both thought and memory, and the keeper of all the scribes of all the things that's going on that's awesome in the world of On Tier.
I like the whole silent screaming thing. Thank you.
That would be you.
All
That
right.
would be one of my favorite things about you. There's times I've seen you across the field to be able to go, look at that. She is just verbally just whooping somebody and she never said a word. So yes, so there you are. Welcome and welcome to my little spot in the corner world, and thank you for inviting me to do this. You have caught me for the first time in my life. I'm nervous, and there's only two of you, and I've said some things in front of a lot of people, things that I should have taken back, and this is so I'll mellow out. So Shaksi asked me what my origin story was. I worked at a mill, and I was sitting on my lunch break and was listening to some gentleman in the corner talking about a feast that they had had. And they were talking of much delight and merriment, and it was revelry and huzzah. And I was, and so I'm sitting in the corner. I've been a husband for, I don't know, a year, maybe at that point in time. This was 96. And so I really wasn't listening, but there was that, what are they doing? But they were so dedicated to it that it didn't matter who was in the room. The president could have been standing there, and these two guys would not break their stories and things that they were telling. And then one day I came in, and this is back when I smoked cigarettes. Kids don't smoke. And I came in, and one of the guys was standing on a table in the break room, and he's all, so I'm like this. And I was like, I want in. That was all it took. I was like, what in the hell are you people doing? And his name was Killian Carricker, and in the SCA. So he started to tell me about this club that he went to. And I think this was right after they were just getting ready to go to 3YC, I guess. So that would have been around the time coming in for me. And so I started kind of following along what they did and started watching some of the stuff they did. And they had a local fight practice north of me here. And I went to this practice. I was watching some people, and there was another gentleman, a guy I'd met, just kind of fringed around, and his name was Richard. And he and I kind of had this magnetism, but we kind of, I stayed away from him. I was a wise ass back then. And, but we didn't, so we didn't really connect right at first, but then the more I saw him and then noticed that he was going to these things, turns out that he was just a go-getter in this thing and was trying to get this Shire here off the ground. So then you fast forward me and this Richard guy who basically built the Shire I live in. His name's Sir Ulfgar, Viscount Sir Ulfgar, and he was and is by far he is my best man. So he and I started hanging out, and then he got me to start doing this. And I think it was in 98. He was like, man, you got to go to this war. And it was Baroness War. And there was a guy named Skepti was king at the time. And Skepti at the time had the real long hair. And I didn't know anybody. And so he got me to go to this Baroness War. It was south of us. And I had a blast. I was all borrowed armor. I wore, they said, dress for activity, dress for doing stuff. And so I had on a pair of like basketball shorts, and, I had some like knee pads underneath there. And they gave me these steel, like old cold rolled steel legs that I had to wear like an old pair of suspenders to keep them up. And they tied them around the back of my knees with like a cord, like the leather cord that we used to tie things on my bare knee. And so by the end of the day, I had these cool little dirt blood tracks down my calves, which was great. And I never had more fun in my entire life. And I got beat to death. And so I was, obviously there's a story of a guy or a person who's joined the SCA because he was fighting. Then there was some times that I just got to hang out with just me and Ulfgar, and he took me and drugged me everywhere. He was a single guy. I was a married young man, and the SCA became my weekend getaway with me and the guys. And then as I fell more and more in love with it and realized that I was letting go of things in my modern world to do this, I realized that it was something that I wanted to be. And then when I realized, I think when more people called me Lachlan than they did Brian, I was like, okay, I must be part of the group. And so that's where I got started, was early mid 96 at a lunch break, and then met Ulfgar, and he started dragging me around down the road with him.
So you found it in 96 through your job, but was 98 at Baroness's War the first time that you got in armor?
I think I'm going to say that was my first. I'd done some practices, but the local shire here, they were using like boffer swords back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember, you were there before I was, when they used to use PVC and duct tape and foam for the kids. And so that's where I started with, me and this young kid, his name's slipping my mind, but anyway, we were kind of hot rods up there. But as far as full on in armor, yeah, I would say Baroness War 98 was my first time getting out there. It was all borrowed, nothing mine. I would say that the next time I stepped on the field with all of my own stuff except for my shield, and there's actually a picture of it, would be Clinton War, the following year.
Is that the picture that I have queued up?
Yes, where my face is painted blue. Yeah, go ahead.
So before you found the SCA, were you into athletics already? Were you, or into any kind of martial art or anything?
I followed a lot. There we are. So that would be me on the left and Ulfgar on the right. And as I pointed out earlier, that there, check out them boots. I got those at Goodwill in Spokane, and the top of the armor was given to me by Ulfgar when he'd upgraded his armor. And then the tombstone on behind that shield that I'm wearing, that's actually a leather motorcycle jacket that I cut the leather off the outside and then wrapped it around pickle barrel. And I used upholstery tacks, like the brass upholstery tacks, and beat it in the front.
Oh.
Yeah.
So are you going for like a Pictish, like Celtic thing with the blue, or?
Funny enough, my name back then, I went by, actually, it wasn't Lachlan, it was Byron. I went by Byron the Blue. Because I wanted so bad to be Scottish, and it turns out, genealogically I am, I guess. Yeah, I am. But back then it was just, Braveheart, right? I just seen Braveheart.
My sister and I actually came in almost at the same time as you.
Oh wow!
I guess we got more active faster than you did. But
okay.
We all came in Scottish too,
Oh, wow.
Braveheart was the thing.
Braveheart, right? Yeah, and I think your sister had asked me if I did other stuff that brought me into this. Unfortunately, yes, I did follow some martial arts. A little bit in high school. Some friends did it. I did more of it when I moved to Seattle after I graduated. And then I started off on the road of doing more pugilistic endeavors that wasn't exactly honorable. I did a lot of fighting. How's that? There we go. I was a chump. I was a jerk. And I was young. I was a punk running around Seattle, and I didn't do good martial arts. Let's just say that. But I got squared away.
Was it in a structured environment, or were you just like a barroom brawler?
Nope. I was a drunken Scotch-Irish ass.
Oh, awesome.
And the folks, unfortunately, that I decided that I was going to hang around and emulate their behavior, there was not a lot of there wasn't a lot of chivalrous behavior going on. We're hanging around by, down on 99, down on like 170th, 185th, down by I grew up across the street from SeaTac Airport on 170th. And so I had my old little haunts. I say grew up. I grew up between parents, but yeah. So yeah, the folks I hung around, we didn't need a gym to go to throw down. Just a beer in a backyard, I guess. So yeah, I think the SCA was good for me after I started talking to my wife about it. And she saw some mannerisms of mine that still, again, young, still immature. I'll take that. I'll own it. But I think I know how to act a little bit better. And the ability that I had to fight kind of came naturally inside this, although the pressure that goes along with the fight was totally different. And so I think that's been obviously a progression for 2 decades now. Yeah.
And
but all good healing.
When did your beautiful wife start coming and playing too?
If you ask my beautiful wife, she still doesn't play. But I know things about my beautiful wife that when we all get to come back together and see each other again, there's things about her that have absolutely amazed me. And so I would say if she started playing, it would be, well, shit, when did I get knighted? That would be 2009. So about 2 years before that, she started sticking her nose in because I was uninspired. I was fighting on the weekend, stick jock, like to be a stick jock, still do. But there's a time to go out and throw down with your buddies. And then there's a time to act like a gentleman. And she's helped me to learn the balance between the two of those, I think, in not so certain terms, I suppose. But she does like it now. She picked her first name after I got her to go to an Ursulmus, and I would say 2000. I'm going to say 10 or 11 because I'd been fighting and I'd just been knighted in July of 2009, and so she started coming around, and so she went to Ursulmus with me in 2010, and she picked her first name on her way home. After that, she said, "Okay, I'm in. I like it. I like the bigger event. I like the Vendors Row. I like and that's when remember when Vendors Row used to go around the fighting, Eric? Talk about drawing anybody in and keeping everybody together. And so she was sucked right in. And so she named herself Bean Sprout on the way home. And I said, well, no, you got to pick a name. And she said, if I'm picking a character, I would like to be known as Bean Sprout. And so my wife's secret name was Bean Sprout forever and ever.
Did you guys figure out what that was in Latin or something and make it fancy?
When I decided, that's kind of funny, being a wise ass or something, I thought maybe I'd do some really cool thing and, maybe, scald her into some feast or something. And then she picked Thorhalla. She asked me, how would you say Thor's love? And I was like, well, that would be, and I found it, dug up a book. I couldn't say that would be, I had to dig up a book, and that's where she stuck with it. She liked the something coming from love. My wife wanted something to come from love all the time, and I did not mesh well with me and my mouth, but yeah, it worked out for a while.
I think it's pretty apt. And we'll look at the pictures later, but all the pictures that we have of you and your wife, there is a lot of emotion and affection there. So I think that's a pretty good name.
I am spoiled ass rotten. If I could just declare that to the world, there's nothing I have never shook my magic wand at that my wife hasn't wanted to make sure that happened. I mean, read into that. Yeah.
We're both 12-year-old boys here. We're like, ooh, the magic wand. Okay. Anyway.
Let's enter the shower. My wife has spoiled me unequivocally and without question. She's taken me and my sons, both of my children, and myself have been spoiled by her. And it's only really for me, honestly, and just again in the last few years that I've really popped my eyes open to see. And that's when she went back to work and started doing her thing, and I got to be here at home. And so she became the me that was the person out there in the grind, and she's amazing at it. And then I had to learn how to be alone, and that for me has been probably one of the most soul redeeming things I've ever found. I miss my friends like nobody's business, and I hate seeing pictures and blips of them. But I think in the last year, I think I think I learned to become a knight. There's been so many things that I line up every day that people have given me, and I'm trying to stop looking at them as gifts and things to hang on the wall, and more of a responsibility. Like that trunk gets heavier when I open it up, and I'm happy for it, but that's a lot of, those are names to remember. And that's where Dana comes in. She's a good balance for me. She's a really good balance for me.
What are some of your most meaningful mementos?
Like to carry day-to-day life or in the SCA?
Well, you were talking about looking at your gifts and how they have more meaning to you now than they did, and I'm just wondering, like, which ones are super special for you, or are they all super special?
Every one of them is super special in its own way. I am a sap. I wear my heart proudly on my sleeve, and that for some people is off-putting, and that's okay. I used to fight that, and why don't you like me? It's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but if I could have put on every shirt that I had tonight, or every hat, or everything that somebody gave me, I would say that there's not enough room in here, because again, there's a lot of names. I think if there's anything, I think one of my first ones would be my award of arms, I would say, because I'd been playing for about 9 years, and I met Skeggy, who was the king, and I'm really fringy, but it was a squire, and I was doing my thing, but I wasn't. I was the show up, fight guy, go home guy. That was me, and I admit it. We all have to start from somewhere. Luckily, I had nowhere but up to go. So, I think the AOA thing, because Skeggy had talked to me, and he became my friend. He became my friend right off the bat. And I don't think I've ever met a stranger, but Skeggy became my friend right off the bat. And he was shocked that I didn't have an AOA. And I remember two things that got said to me that day. Skeggy said, "Walk like a lord." So I did. And then I had a lady say, "Now act like you deserve this." And you know what? That was her heart, and she spoke it. And I'm trying, lady. If you're still out there, I'm trying.
It wasn't me.
No. And I still know this person. I see them, and I've seen them before. And in fact, we cross paths occasionally. And there's a wide berth given, but it's in the utmost respect, I think. So, but yeah, I think that was a pivotal moment, was try to earn it. And because I know I can look back over my shoulder and go, man, I've got a heavy trunk now. And that AOA, that little AOA bead is somewhere. It's right there. It was pivotal because it made me feel like I was part of something. It was part of something that, and I didn't see it then. Of course, it was an AOA, and now I'm Lord Lachlan. And you forget that every time somebody bestows something like that on you, that somebody talked about that before you decided to go like this. And I don't ever remember doing this. So I guess that's why I'm trying to remember that when I'm a knight now, that nobody said, "Hey, that guy that's doing this, make him a knight or a lord," right? So I think the simple, humble beginning is my favorite. And I think the most daunting, all of them after that. How's that? Yeah. Ask me something.
Well, there was a lot in there.
I'm like, processing.
Sorry.
There's a couple things. Like one thing, like you talk about wearing your heart on your sleeve, and I actually, I hate the word actually, so I'm gonna take that word back. But I think that's one of the greatest things about you, is that I've never really seen you as rough and tumble. So I'm interested on how you sort of overcame that. I don't know if it was getting married and finding the SDA or what, but how you sort of got over that and became who I know, because you are one of the most considerate and genuine people that I think I've ever met. And you always come from the heart, and you always say what you mean. And I've always found that very knightly, like super, super knightly. And I've never actually, even when you disagree with somebody, you're never mean about it. Right?
On camera. On camera, on microphone. I have worn out many a delete button, and rightly so. Speaking from the heart is easy again when you've decided that you're finally at ease with yourself. It's funny that you didn't see me as rough and tumble, but and I guess maybe that's the facade. I mean, that we put on. I put on. Sorry. Yeah. Of course, I liked to boast that I'm me in the SCA. Well, I didn't. Am I really? Because if I hadn't admitted to people that I will cry at the drop of a hat, how can I, and then go, by the way, I'm ship crew. And I proudly am part of that group. Those are my brothers and my sisters, and I love them. And people go, really? You're with them? Hell yes. Yes, amen. But I also stand on the shoulders of giants. I had people that told me that I was worth something by Sven, people like Sven, people like Vic, you know, um, people that have come and gone that said thanks before they left, and some of them I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. The Melissa or Amanda Kendall of Westmoreland recently passed away, and that was my Baroness for a minute. She when I was first fighting in our Shire Champions, she saw in me being brash and young and her and my wife got along pretty good. And she said, I know how to help you be calm. And I was like, oh, do you? And she said, yes, you should sing a song here in front of everybody now. And this little bitty thing was like, holy hell. And you know what? She even spoke at my knighting 18 years later, and now she's gone. And she said I was a good guy, and I'm going to ride with that. And I think maybe that's all I'm trying to learn to do, is to take people at their value. When you say you didn't see me that way, it's just another stark resemblance of myself in a mirror that says, how'd they know me and I didn't? And it turns out, I mean, I'm the guy that sat here going, well, I haven't heard from my friends, and well, how come I don't hear from sometimes I am a fractured little soul. And the best thing that happened was for the world to tell me personally to go home for a few minutes, sit down and learn who your real friends are. And when your phone starts lighting up, and when your phone rings, or when somebody drives by your house and yells at you and waves, or there's a lull, and you get to ride out of town and go see your friends even for a night. And so I'm trying to fill the shoes of all the people that put something in front of me, and sometimes I get lost behind that and forget that I'm just Brian. I'm Lachlan, if you so desire. But it's always funny that I hear that from you, and I was like, you, other people that I go, man, there's something about me that you said something to me at one point, actually, in RIT. We were talking, and you said actually I was speaking to you. It's unfortunate that you said something. It was perfectly placed, but it's unfortunate that you feel that this is an attack on your personal character, I think is what you wrote. And it was like,
this.
right? But honestly, and even from home, I got to go, and those are the pause moments where it's like, I'm a bit of a drama queen sometimes, and instead of just saying, dude, maybe it's possible that people really do want you to be part of their group. I wasn't much of a joiner, was not a good athlete in school. I lettered, I think, my junior year in one sport, and senior year in football. And that was because the guy that was supposed to be the varsity guy got hurt, and so I wasn't very big. I was 99 pounds my freshman year, and I graduated about the size I am now. But yeah, it's funny, the whole evolution of just trying to be myself in a pretend game where I'm being myself, and it turns out that being this pretend character is what people like the most, and what they like the most was actually just me. I was hiding out in the real world, and when I found out that I was just a nerd that liked to dress up with his friends.
But I think for somebody who wears their heart on their sleeve like you do, and who is empathetic, I would guess that you're empathetic. It's hard to ever hear criticism about anything you've done because you take it very personally. And one of the things that I think the SCA has helped me to do, because I'm very empathetic too, is sort of say, okay, just because someone's telling me that I might be doing something that they don't agree with doesn't mean they don't like me. or isn't an assault on me. They want to actually see me be who they
Succeed.
think I am, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that is sort of a common learning experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Or at least I hope it is, because I I think, that most people do want to see other people succeed. And even in like Shiv council or whatever council you're in, when someone says something negative about somebody, it's because they want them to grow. Usually, like it's never because they want to keep them out, or at least not the people that are playing the way that we should be playing. So I don't know where I'm going with that, but
Same place I was going with mine, right?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Let's go together.
Yeah.
I can drive. I'll drive.
My point is that most people in the SCA do want to see their friends and even people that they aren't close with succeed. They just want them to be the best versions of themselves.
Isn't that funny that we do so much to try to lift the people up next to us when we forget it's okay for us to be the best versions of ourselves. It's okay. It's not arrogance for me to want to be better than I am right now. It was amazing. I got to watch Rayner's knighting on video the other day. Somebody just resurfaced it, and there I am. My gums are flapping, and you know what? I was like, that's damn good advice right there. Right? Sometimes you just stop and go, I am so smart, it hurts.
I'm smart, I know.
Know things. I know stuff.
That's an inside sister joke.
You can share. It's not it now. Am I one of the sisters? That's weird.
I don't think you want to be one of the sisters, but we could make you an honorary sister.
I'll be the ugly one.
Either.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Moving on.
I think one of the really cool qualities about you is that I've had a similar interaction with you online where I misjudged you and painted you with a ship crew paint brush that, you were going to have certain beliefs that were certain ways. And you were like, why do you think I think that?
Oh, yes. I do remember this conversation. I
And
do.
we had a really good conversation. And I was like, wow, that was really cool.
Thank you. Thank you for remembering that. I wear a lot of hats. I do. I swear I do wear a lot of hats. And I've never met a stranger. And I'll be honest. I think my captain is watching right now. I don't join clubs. I don't join groups. Brian doesn't join because, I just didn't. I didn't want to join a club. And I thought, in all honesty, that the first time I ever went to a crew event, when I was invited to go to a crew event, I thought that I was the butt of the joke. I thought I was going to be. I didn't unpack until the second night. Really, I thought that they'd been so nice to me. They'd been real nice to me, and they'd been like, shoulders and everything, and I was like, yeah, and to me, they were just like, they were ship crew, they were awesome, they were, and at the time, there was like Arnsbjorn and all the guys, everybody, Dagar and Osric and Cedric, and those were my, I was like, look at these guys go hard at it, and so when they invited me, man, I thought, and they didn't, they actually took me in and they made me feel like I was another importance, a person that they wanted to be known with, or to be seen with, I should say, and that's cool in my world, that if anybody wants to stand with me. And so I figure, why not not meet strangers? Why not let somebody let me into their camp? And maybe that's the bridge. Maybe that's, I don't mind being that mouthpiece, that gap that bridges two conversations where they didn't talk to them before because they didn't know. And if you and I ended up on one different level, maybe that allowed you to cross over that side. So then I can just step out of the way or not. Run down the road like Loki's offspring.
I was talking to Duke Sirith, I think, from the Outlands, and he has this whole thing about crossing the road or like crossing the field, or I can't remember what he called it. But anyway, like meeting the people that that you don't know, that you would have considered sort of your enemy, like, you know, like for Ontario West it would be the West, right? And meeting them and actually realizing you have more in common than you don't. And I think the same thing goes for households and the SCA, even in our own kingdom, because I think that we have, all of us, more in common than we don't. And that it's not fair to paint anybody with a brush just because maybe you had a bad interaction with one person in their household. So I just love that. And I wish that everyone would sort of take a step back and then take 3 steps forward and, you know, cross the road and see who those people really are, and see what you have in common instead of focusing on what you don't.
It's hard to have a conversation when your hands are. Yeah. Well, and it's there, you know, there's always the read, you know, I mean, the SCA, you know, I mean, if you just take our world that we create inside there out into the mundane modern world, it's, I guess, you know, a wise man would say it's difficult to have a conversation with someone when their hand's on their sword, you know. And so crossing the road, letting that guard down, and showing up, as it were, unarmed and available. And I think that's what helped in the SCA, maybe for me anyway, was just allowing that availability, a little bit of vulnerability, but knowing at the end of the day that the people that may have picked on people, or the people that drive by when you're at practice and you're standing on the road, somebody drives by and they're like, "Hey, Gandalf," you know, you get to go through all these, sometimes these, you know, getting beat up on by some folks, and you're getting beat up because they don't understand it. And then all of a sudden, when you walk through the gate, I loved that feeling when I walked in, knowing that that element wasn't there. This was Christmas Town. This was all the people that were getting yelled at that they were nerds in one place with a fence around us. Okay, now there's my people, right? You know, what, you know, oh, they're a band of nerds, but they've got sticks. And so, yeah, I think the SCA was a good thing for me in that respect, and still learning, still processing how to do that, especially when you can't be there. This has been a difficult thing, especially if you know me in the SCA. I'm not quiet. If there was an Eric light and a party going on, I wanted to be the guy in front of it, and not only in front of it, but, you know, Pied Piper your ass all night long. Let's go do something. And just, you know, some of it was because seeing your friends and being somebody, being Sir Lachlan, being a knight, from Friday to Sunday afternoon, it was an amazing thing. And then some days, an absolute soul-crushing letdown to drive so far away from your friends, to go so far north away from where everybody's at, to see them again in a month, maybe. You know, one of my best friends is Sir Gernon, and I would like to call him one of my best friends. He can call me whatever he wants, but he's one of the people I call when I'm trying to think of the right way to say something, and the only word that I have is not good. It's a 4-letter word. He, believe it or not, is he's a good man for that. And so it's hard when I go, the last time I stood shoulder to shoulder with that man in armor was not Ursumus either, because he didn't get to go in 2019. So it would have been, you know, 2018. And that's not okay in my world, right? You know, and I've seen him once since then, and that's not okay in my world, but I am way healthier because of it now, after learning how to not do it. Take somebody who won't ever shut up, who needs a crowd of people, and give them a mirror and a dark room by themselves, and you'll either come out with somebody who's just batshit crazy, or
yeah.
So I want to rewind a little bit for a second.
Please.
You talked about being a stick jock, and actually I think that's sort of natural. Like, you fall in love with fighting and it's your passion and that's the thing you love, and then you discover the other things.
Sure.
But how did you transition from being a stick jock to saying, hey, maybe I do want to walk the path to peerage and do these other things?
Oh, what to when I quit fighting and wanted to be a knight? You mean? Is that a
Well,
better way to say
I
it?
don't think you quit fighting, but
No, well, I quit trying to. No, I didn't. I don't know what I did when it came to the competition. That was a mystery to me until, well, forever. But I think I don't know. I honestly, I think when I started holding my wife's hand at events, yeah, when I started holding her hand, when it was okay to find a compromise between, look, you just fought all day long with all the guys, and there you'll be around the campfire for the no shit there I was stories. Take your wife to the vendor's row for a minute. Leave sight. You could. My wife couldn't drag me off site. There was years you couldn't drag me off site. Now I'll go, especially if we go to On Tier West. That girl loves the ocean like I love chocolate chip cookies, and I'll tell you what, or Oreos. You got an Oreo? I'll eat Oreo.
well,
But
you got to
yeah.
take the cookies to the ocean, and then you're both
Oh
happy.
my God, I need an Oreo. But yeah, that was the thing. I think when I started to stop focusing so much on the I have to do this, and what it started doing, and this was in conversations I had with my knight, was he's like, do you think that somebody's keeping score? Because if I didn't get to an event, Ulfgar, is that going to make me look bad? What's going to make you look bad is telling somebody that you're going to be there and then you don't show up. Okay, knight. So I think when I just started listening and started holding my wife's hand a little bit more, I started finding a little bit more joy in it.
I think that's a really, 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 really important conversation to have if you have a mentor or peer. Is, do you think somebody's keeping tabs?
Yeah, Ulfgar was good about that because again, if you take what I do socially and wear my heart on my sleeve, I need every amount of feedback, unfortunately, on the planet, up to and including the point where I'm so hypersensitive that I will fold up camp in the middle of a fight if I saw somebody look at me wrong. And that's anybody out there wants to know how do you beat Lachlan? Look over my shoulder behind me and shake your head. I will melt. I will fall apart. I'll turn into. He doesn't like me, does he? This guy doesn't like me. That's it. Ulfgar was really good at pointing those things out to me because too many mind was and is the Lachlan that falls onto the field sometimes with all whatever kind of grace I can muster in my feet, my hands, and my voice seems to get just shot to shit by my psyche sometimes. And Ulfgar was a good balance for that because he would bring those to light. Do you think that somebody's keeping score? Like, did you see Lachlan today? He wasn't over here at this event, and I noticed that he wasn't there. Even though those are things that maybe a specific peerage speaks about when a potential candidate comes on deck, right? But the candidate, so to speak, the would-be candidate that wants to be a candidate, you think you have to be at everything, and it's just, if you take a breath and relax a little bit and realize that this doesn't have to happen today. It sounds funny, but your sister Rifkin was one of the people that it might have been my second or third council, and I think there'd been some water bubbling about knighting people, because there's times you see it's like a desert for peerages, and then all of a sudden we have a lot, and that's great. That's sometimes the crop is low and sometimes you get a bumper crop, right? So be it. But it was funny that to hear Rifkin said in council one time, she said, I think we need to stop talking about who's next and start talking about who's knightly. And that's something that I was like, shit, I'm wearing a white belt, because I forgot. There was a minute I forgot to walk knightly, not for very long, because I have a lot of cool people around me that remind me of that. But yeah, it was. What was I answering? What was I saying? Shit.
No, we were talking about. Do you think somebody's keeping score?
Oh yeah. See, I was talking about paying attention, and Ulfgar was good at that one too. I wasn't. But yeah, just to stop. If you live your life, and I'm trying to take some of those, but living my life now, like there's no finish line around the corner. There's nobody's keeping track of my lap times as I make a lap around the sun and what I did. And if there anybody that's doing that, it's myself. And, you know, give yourself a break to enjoy the SCA. I mean, it's something funny. I was talking to another peer on the phone the other day, and if you described, and I was talking about sometimes the dissension inside the SCA, which that's a whole nother thing that we don't have to talk about, but just being inside the SCA going, I want to be a knight. Oh, you want to be a knight? Wonderful. So I want you to just take, I don't know, $200-300 a weekend, set that aside 2-3 times a month, excuse me, and 12 months a year. We're going to go to these things, make sure you got to be off work early. You're going to have to use your vacation time. When you get there, don't bother setting up because you're going to be late for Squires tournament. And then you got to make sure you can get over here. And so if you started to explain everything that it took for somebody when they go, oh, how do I become a knight? How do I become a laurel? Nobody would join. Nobody, I'm not paying for that. I can be abused like that at work and they pay me. I don't want to go to the weekend and freeze my ass off and sleep in my car or do you? And some of us did, you know, but that was the beauty of it, maybe, you know, is that we were willing to do that.
And I think that people get fixated on mistakes that they've made in the past. Like the misstep that you made 10, 15, 20 years ago, nobody gives a shit about that. You know, you have been building up your wall of reputation for all that time, and you've been showing people by every day that you live who you are. And that one mistake, it's water under the bridge, and nobody should be talking about that. That's something you fucked up. You learn from it.
Ooh.
You've grown.
I was gonna say
F-bomb.
The person that does bring that up and does remember it is a petty bitch. It needs to.
Yeah. Look, people are going to be people, right? I mean,
well, right, but I mean, we should all be allowed to mature and grow, and especially, you know, I've talked to a lot of guys who started really early, like in their teens and 20s, and we're all assholes when we're 20.
Yep.
I mean, we are. We think we know everything, and we're assholes. And you got to let those people grow up. You know, you can't hold them to that, what they did when they were 20 for forever. It's not fair.
Translate that into today's knighthood, peerages, laurels, pelicans. That would be an amazing thing, the evolution of, I look at the knight that I am today, the knight that you are today, the laurel that your sister is, the lion that you are, the things that we've all become. And imagine just wiping all that away and saying, could you hold up to those accolades 20 years ago that they put on you when they speak the words and the things that they said to make you a lion? To me, it's difficult sometimes, much like I'm from the largest I ever was dimensionally, I'm almost 100 pounds smaller. And I can't help but look in the mirror some days and still see that guy and go, you know what? It's a matter of time, man. One cookie, because there's those demons, right? Just poking around in there. Imagine that with your knighthood or your peerages if you did that. Oh my God, if they only knew. Dude, just let it go. They made you that. Start thinking about the accolades that the people give you, even the smallest child that gives you, you know, a button. If you start assuming that those things are part of you, you're screwed because you'll lose it. You're going to lose that button. So just continue to be the you that earned that button, and you won't need to produce it and say, "Hey, I still got that button." You should be able to walk across and people see you as a laurel or see you as a pelican, see you as a knight, a leader of people without the accoutrement.
Right, but that's a bigger theme, right? Like that's how you
should
live your life anyway. Like when you're on the path to peerage, that belt or the laurel or the pelican doesn't change who you are. If you didn't garner respect before you got a white belt, there's those people that didn't respect you are not going to respect you now. You have to be, you have to be the person that you think is knightly or purely, how to say that?
Pure like
PLQ.
You got the PLQs. I got some PLQs for you.
Some PA-like qualities for you. I got a tattoo
But we're
right here.
getting all philosophical.
We can do that. We can do whatever you want. I can tell a joke.
No. It's cool. I like this conversation. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think we should look at some pictures of you because we have some cool ones. And you can tell in them that you are the facilitator of fun. Is that what you called him?
The ambassador of joy.
Oh, the ambassador of joy.
But
I like it.
facilitator of fun is good though because it's alliteration and I like that.
So let's see.
Are we gonna do like magical hats?
Oh, I am a man of many hats.
Okay. So we look.
All right. Clinton War. Last day I was a squire. I got knighted. This was at July coronation 2009. Vic and Inga were stepping down and I got knighted about, I don't know, 45 minutes after this. That's the last time I got to stand with that man as my knight. Hey!
I just think this is a really cute picture.
I love that man. That man's my brother.
Well, you can tell. You can tell.
That is my oldest son, Kylie. That was prom, 2008, his senior prom. And I'd let him borrow my convertible BMW, and this is what I got.
See, this picture's magical.
You know, it's funny. I feel like a king every time she speaks in my ear. And someday, when my hand and deeds are able to do the things that she says that I am, you guys are in so much trouble. Look at that. Now zoom in on Thor Hollis' chest plate. Zoom in on that. I hope there's somebody out there watching this. That's Duke Torgles.
Torgl used to wear. Is
That's
that
his.
Torgle's?
That's Torgle's armor plate. I received that from my big brother, His Grace Duke Skeggy.
I thought it was Torgle's. I'm like, that looks like Torgle's.
And I gave it to the perfect place. Somebody that would, well, probably that would not use it as, I don't know, a shovel or a plate for food.
So does she like to fight?
My wife actually really liked to fight. Her favorite person to fight with was not me. It was His Grace Duke Steercar. She loves standing next to Steercar because he walked up to her. He put down his pike and came up to her with a shield and he said, "Come with me." And she said it was a moment because she really wanted to pike somebody. And she'd gotten she got a couple head spinners. This was at War in the Oasis. I thought that this would be a good one. She'd been practicing in the backyard and here at home. And when I say practicing, I ate so many pike shots to the face and to the body. It's not even funny. But she wanted to do this because, and I don't know that she'll do it again. And she might. I think she said she would like to, but she does not like to get hit. She it's not that she does the whole, oh, I go to a bad place. She goes, no, I just want somebody to stand there and I want to hit them.
Well, that's what we all want.
Right? That's fair.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't quite snap it back. There we go.
Oh,
Look at all that love in your eyes.
I was made a lion a minute before, and I just wanted to take it off and give it to her right there. I'm just gonna kiss her ass this whole night. Just anybody out there watching, boy, Lachlan sure kissing his wife's ass. Yes, I am. Want to fight? Okay, so I'm glad that photo stops at my elbow. Move, next picture.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's so cute.
I got slapped. She's like, go ahead, grab me. But so my favorite thing is grabbing my wife's butt. I apologize for saying it out here, but I do. I like to grab her butt when she's not looking. And so I'll find any excuse to grab my wife's butt. And it's a standing rule. If I grab her butt in public, I get slapped. It's a fair rule. So yeah. That would be my youngest son, Quinlan Orion. He graduated 2018 this last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now.
God, you don't look old enough to have kids out of high school.
I don't look big enough to have children that large. Look at that kid. Both of my sons, Quinlan's 6'4" and Kylie's like 6'5" and change. I did not, I don't know if people know this, I did not biologically create Kylie. I adopted him when he was 4. That kid needed a dad, and I wanted to be a dad more than anything on the planet. And she wanted me, and I got a twofer. So that was awesome. But yeah, I got 2 gigantic sons. Quinlan's like 6'4", and he's, I don't know, I think he's like 190 pounds, and Kylie's 6'5" and 205 or something. I mean,
Wow.
they're just big dudes.
Wow.
Their Dana's dad's was 6'9", very, very, very tall guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
picture.
Hey, look at that. There's a couple. That's out in the middle of nowhere. That's, I think if you zoom in on that, hey, look at that. That's
What do you want me to zoom in on?
Oh, I was just my eyeglasses. I'm thinking we're out in the middle of like nowhere, but that's okay. That's my night, and I just got put on vigil for knighthood. This was up in this is Vic and Inga's. This is where Duke Cedric won his 2nd reign, and this is at Sunday at the Squires.
Oh, this is up
you like the Nike glove? Check out the Nike glove. What?
That's hot.
You're the reason we have that rule.
Thank you. Ruined the picture for life. That's what I had a really good friend. He goes, dude, I love this picture, and I can only look at it from his elbow up, because every time I look at it, I see that damn swoosh.
You just need to take it into Adobe and Photoshop it out.
Right? Yeah, gauntlet.
Just for the record, the Laurel didn't even notice the swoosh.
No.
So
Thank God.
whatever.
We have a whole series of pictures from the day you're put on vigil. So let me ask you, because I always ask this. When you were put on vigil, was it a surprise for you, or did you know you were getting close? Or
Christian had gotten put on vigil the day before, and I was crying. I was crying inside. I was weeping. I was at the what am I doing wrong? What am I doing? Am I missing something moment? And it wasn't, and I had to say that to him. I don't want you to see me as in a light that makes you feel like I'm not happy for you. And he understood. I mean, you understand. It's a moment where you think that man or that person, that guy and that girl and I, man, we throw down. And when they move on to the next pasture, you're happy, but then you're like, what am I doing wrong? And then you get this moment. And yes, I was so surprised. I was, there's another picture, it's around here somewhere, but I was looking off into La La Land. There's a picture, like Rayner's like looking at the end of his sword, and I'm looking left at a car or something. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for it. And then Vic came out, and they called a hold on the field, and I was actually like, sorry, Vic. At one point in time, I was talking to Rayner, like, if you fix that, blah, blah, blah. And then Vic said, this is hallowed ground. I wasn't listening, but he said, this is hallowed ground. There's everything left on this field every time every person walks off of it. What is better than that? And I was looking this way, and I said, nothing, Your Majesty. And he pointed at me and he said, that's right. I was like, I know. And I went back to what I was looking at. And then I heard, Lachlan, come here. And I almost for a second went, why? Because I got called up from the back of the classroom for shit. I don't get called up for good things. So yeah, that was that moment.
Oh.
My queen. Yeah, Inga, she's a good compass for me too. She's a good friend. She's been a friend. I try to make sure every year I contact them if I haven't seen them, just to say happy birthday, happy anniversary, and thank you. And yeah, you always hope that you still hold, or even more so embody, I do, the same things that they saw in me that same day. And that's hard the older you get to remember that. And so I look to the people around me and then make sure that we're all walking square and nobody's trying to shoot me. So I must have done all right, Inga. Oh, my poor knight. He fought right there. That was his, he fought in the finals against the sinister, my buddy, Eric. And he fought hard and he lost. And that was a man right there that if you look at his face, that he poured everything in, he poured the coal to it that day. And he deserved that hug. He earned that hug right there. Eric earned the win. He earned the hug. Hey, there he is. If you look at my face, I am cleaning something out of my teeth right there. Yeah. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Holy crap.
That was
I'm looking at his.
Isn't that the day that the video was taken?
Oh, is that Ramon's video?
Yeah.
Is it?
God, I thought we should bring that on because I love the footage in there of Skeggy trying to hold you back.
Oh my God, that fight. Oh, there's my little brother. I love that
He
guy.
looks 12 in this picture.
You know what? If I shave my face right there, we look the same age, so it's okay. I got more gray now. I can get away with it. And he's gonna look like that forever. Now he just looks like that with a mustache. He's like a Mr. Potato Head. You just add stuff to Rainer.
He's one of the best. He is one of the best men.
He is one of the best knights on tier ever kicked out, in my opinion. He's a good man.
I agree. He is.
Hey, there's a couple. So that's Ulfgar got the cloak of fame from the On Tier West War. Isn't that what they call it? The hero's cloak. And then I was awarded the cloak of fame from Ship Crew for a not so amazing reason, but a cool cloak nonetheless. Miss Drafina, Ulfgar's daughter, Duchess. Yeah, I was in procession to come. Hey, is that your head, Misty? No, that's not your hair. That's somebody else's. I know who that is. That's Alexi's lady.
Yes. Former Baroness of
Yes, the Baroness of Blathanor. Yeah, that was when I was becoming a lion. And look, my wife's crying. And if you look back right behind my wife, there's Gernon.
Yeah.
There's my buddy.
Now so I wanted to talk about this moment.
Okay.
For me to stop sharing?
No, you can keep sharing. Or
okay.
If you want to stop, we can go back to the pictures. You got recognized as a lion by somebody who grew up in the SCA.
Yeah.
I mean, he was born into the SCA. He grew up into the SCA. He became a knight. He became a duke. He became king 3 times now? Twice.
And he's just like a stellar human being.
Yeah.
Eric's one of the finest human beings I know. Good job, Dagar. You know how to make him.
He's a really, really wonderful man.
He's a genuine human. I think that's the thing. And I would say, yeah, he's a genuine human being. I loved when he was the king. It was great. Lachlan, come here for a second. Oh, okay. And he was so good about it. He'd be a good teacher. Eric, if you're watching, you'd be a good teacher. You should go to college and become a teacher. Because Lachlan, come here for a second. This is a kid that is my junior by, I don't know, 20 some years. Oh, hey, Lachlan, come here for a second. And he'd shut the door and he'd talk to me. Wow. Then we'll leave it at that. But you know what? Genuine human being. You know, he's a good man. He's a very, very good man. He means everything he says. And I love 100%. That about him. 100%. Yeah.
And I think that it's a remarkable thing to be considered a pillar of the kingdom by somebody who grew up in that kingdom and knows that kingdom so very well. I think that's really cool.
It'd have been easier if somebody that was 100 years old would have given it to me. Honestly, you know, imagine if somebody that's on their way out gives it to you, but then somebody that's got the freshest of eyes on it and said, hey, by the way, you're what I've been looking up to. Well, stop. Because I may have taught people to do keg stands at some point in time. And that's the hard part.
But what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with fun and frivolity.
Yeah, I think I said that the last time when I was doing some video or something, but when some folks named their child after me, like genuinely in modern day named their son Lachlan and said, just so you know, when you hear this, that it's because of you. Oh, don't do that to me. But now I look at it as wow. I mean, first of all, what a lucky kid. 2,
it could have been Byron the Blue.
Yeah, Byron the Blue, right? And I had some other names in there that I don't remember, but they all had my last name, but it was not, Byron. But yeah, what was I saying? I don't know. Ask me something.
We're talking about your lion. So
yeah, I was diverting.
So it's a very surreal experience. Did you find it?
Yes.
It
didn't register. Like I said, I can remember what Vic said because I have a video, but that I remember that. I do remember that. And that was a surreal. That's the perfect word because I wanted to be a knight. Did you ever think about someday when I become a lion? Did you ever? Right. Who does that? Nobody picks that one, you know. I wanted to be king. I want to be a knight. I want to be and I'm standing in line to go fight. And then here comes the king and queen, and they're doing their thing. And then they called my name, and I'm like, well, I'm supposed to say that. I'm Lachlan. I want to fight in your thing. And Drafina called me forward, and Eric told me to kneel. And the words she said next that made it surreal because I couldn't see it. Everybody in procession was kneeling. I'm certain you were there. I apologize if I don't remember it. It's a foggy day, but
I was there.
but I remember her saying, "If this man has ever inspired you, stand up." And that was the only time in my life I could feel people because I could feel it in the ground, physically feel a disruption in the ground, and it was people standing up. And she said, "They're standing up for you." And that, again, I got one letter in high school, and yes, I benchmarked myself against that. Why do we benchmark ourselves against high school? I don't know, because I wasn't then. I wish I was. I had this mouth and this razor sharp wit, but I was that big. And it was just a smart ass, but it felt amazing. It feels amazing. It feels amazing every day when somebody calls me that. And there are times that it's like, yeah, I'm at home. I'm like, I was made a lion, a volunteer. I don't know if you know this, but when you say that to your wife, you still have to go get her coffee. Just so we're clear, But yeah, it was very surreal. It is very surreal because you think about it, and it's never been that. Well, that's done. Let me tick that off the list. What's next? That almost comes out in like the forefront anymore. It's like I put that out in front of and of everything. It's like I put that in. Is that how I'm talking? And my Laurel steer car, my friend steer car, I always like to poke at him because every time when I feel like he's doing the Lachlan, he changes his profile picture to a lion. I usually take that personal, yeah. It's usually if he has done that, and I saw it was for good cause. I was like, hey, look, is this the brakes? I just throw those over the shoulder and ride this to the bottom, But I like if people see that in me. Somebody told me don't make a liar out of them. Okay. So the king said you're a knight, the queen said you're a knight, that knight said you're a squire, that Laurel said you're an apprentice or a protege, as a pelican would. Don't make them liars by acting poorly, and don't call them liars by not accepting. And Eric and Drafina said that I'm a lion, and so by God, I have every right and responsibility, all the way back to that man's grandfather, to uphold whatever he sees as an example of honor and chivalry. So, and when I stumble along the way, I go, see that? That was all me. My lion pendant chipped my tooth because you keep it with you, and I'm okay with that.
I love that. Don't call them liars by not accepting.
Yeah. You want to tell the kid, when you walk around any pier, when you go, God, I'm no knight. Oh, really? So we should find the king and queen that said that you're a knight and tell them they were wrong. Or you want to spend a couple minutes, suck it up, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and prove them right. I can prove everybody that said that I was going to be a no good, low down lion piece of shit. I can prove them right in a second. It takes 2 seconds to say the wrong words and a lifetime to put them back together. Or I can just pause for a moment and say that these people saw these things in me, and I'll do my level best to act like I deserve them. And as soon as I don't, I'm pretty sure those people that hung it around my neck will come crawling out of the woodwork to go, I'll just hold that until you're ready.
See, I'm listening to that, and I'm like, I kind of have a philosophical problem with people telling you to live up to something, because I think you were recognized because of who you genuinely are, and I don't think you need to fake it. You don't need to fake it. You
No.
are who you are. And when you misstep, the thing that's cool about you is that you say, hey, I fucked up, you know, and you own it. And that is, I think, all we can ask the people that we look up to do is to own their shit, apologize, and move on and do better. And when we know better, we do better. So I have, like, anytime somebody tells me to live up to something, I just, like, my whole body just kind of goes, because I'm just like, no, be you, be genuinely you.
I would still see you as you if you were in a pool. Let's put you swimming in a pool for a minute, kicking your feet. Can you swim? I hope you can swim.
I was a competitive swimmer for most of my life. So yes.
Then you know what I'm talking about. So, yes. So this will fit. Good. I pulled this out of the ethos. You're welcome. So putting you in the middle of a pool where you have to tread water, and I say, Misty, good job. You are doing great. And every 15 minutes, I hang another medallion around your neck because you are just kicking ass and taking names. You are a water baby. Pretty soon, you might want to adjust the way that you're moving your body to be able to tread water. And sometimes if we would look at the accolades that have been given to us, both on the positive and the constructive side, and consider that for a second, then yes, you have an opportunity and an obligation to continue to keep your head above water. You've been keeping your head above water. Now put this target, if you want to call it that. It's not a target, it is a weight. It is something that should be weighted so that you feel it, so that you adjust the way that you tread water. Because if you want to just hold on to those medallions, or a brick even, if you want to just hold them and keep kicking your feet like you were just to tread water, you're going to go down. So you have to adjust yourself. Yeah. And that's maybe how I'm trying to picture what I'm doing. Is I'm not trying to make everybody get along and be friendly. I'm just trying to maintain being myself and walk in a stride that is compatible to be approachable by either any kind of person that sees me, because at the end of the day, I have to be with the things that people have given me. I have to be an ambassador for that, because if I'm not, then I'm pointing the finger at a lot of other people that wore bigger hats and sat on more puffy chairs than I did, and I'm calling them liar if I don't adjust the way I walk a little bit.
I get that. And you know, as you get weighed down, you don't tread water anymore. You do your back float, right? I mean, you know, like, right? So but that's just still genuinely you, right? Like, you're just adapting to your situation.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Are we changing hats now? Because I'm happy to do that.
Aww.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, nice. Boom. Landed it. See that?
All right.
That's how we do.
Anyway, should we look at some, what?
Yeah.
You want to take pictures?
Look at more pictures.
Yes.
All right.
Let's do pictures. Hopefully it's pictures of not me, somebody else.
Well, they're all pictures of you.
Yay. Glory hunt. Hey, it's my little family, my knight and my brethren. I'm missing a couple brothers there.
I don't know how I just did that, but there you go.
Very well. Yeah, that was the day Magnus was going up to get knighted that day.
I remember that fair.
Yeah, that was a good knighting.
It was.
Yeah, that was Eric. Woohoo! That had some smoke on it. I think he still feels that. I bet you if you ask Magnus, he still can feel that. That was a good one.
Aww.
I love those guys. Look at those. Did you guys hear what I did to Clark at 12th night, the last 12th night we actually got to have?
Aside from him crawling around on the fire?
Well, oh yeah, so before that, while Rainer wasn't looking, Rainer accidentally left him unattended with his wife, and I just adore her and that little dude, and so I ran over and I squired him.
Oh, I did know that. I did.
Yeah, I put this belt around him and I said, I take you as my squire. If you don't want to, just say something. And he didn't say anything. And his mother didn't say anything, so I left. So half hour later, Rainer comes up and he's holding this thing. He goes, we need to talk.
I think his mother adores you.
You know what? That's my little sister. I love that little girl. She's awesome.
This is my favorite picture in the whole thing.
The best picture I ever decided to take. The best picture I ever decided to take. Those things weren't even cold or weren't even warm from their heads, man. Because they did it on the field. They did the investiture of him and her as prince and princess. And so of course we're watching it, and I saw here comes Heather, and she had her camera out. She had that big, long, awesome lens, and I don't know anything about cameras except that the bigger they are, the more expensive they are. And I figured I would look awesome right there. And then Steer Car steals the picture.
Eyes, and it's just
Look at,
so pretty.
and she stayed in character, and this guy, look at him, he cracked.
Utterly.
Look at that man. I love that guy. I know he's so good. I think he did that on purpose. He had to have known, like, Lachlan's here. I can smell him. I can smell him coming.
Anyway, that was the last picture. So.
All right.
So,
go ahead.
well, I was going to just say, someone is asking, as a peer, what is the hardest thing you've had to do? Soren, I'm aware that is asking that.
The hardest thing to have to do?
The hardest thing that you have had to do as a peer.
I'll leave this. I had to tell somebody of higher station than me as their friend that they looked like a bully. That was hard because it was hard. Because when I was put on vigil, now Duke Saverick said to me, someday you're going to be standing there and you're going to see something and go, somebody needs to do something. And you'll look around and the somebody that needs to do something will be wearing the white belt, and that somebody might be you. And so I hope he said that 100,000 other times, because he was not wrong. Any peer, any person worth their weight in salt will be standing there. And I just saw something, and it was because I saw something between two friends, you know. And so I wanted to be that voice box, and it was an overstep of my boundaries that I maybe above my pay grade, but maybe not. I don't know, but it was for the better, and I still stand by it. But that was hard. That was hard to walk up to somebody, and of course, you know, you praise in private. You know, and well, you chastise in private too, I guess is a better way. Praise in public, chastise in private. Isn't that what they say? But wasn't a chastisement, but it was just speaking to a friend as a friend I would want them to speak to me. But sometimes that you find that difficult when that friend is that friend, you know, you want people to see it before you say something, and you want them to say, I want people to see, I want to catch myself before I have to have a friend say something, you know. And I think that's the hardest part about being that steer car. I love hearing that steer car says that too, that your words carry more weight, you know, and it's true. They do carry more weight. But again, as we were talking before, if I'm just me, then I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And I just got to stand by it. You know, if I said it, stand by it. What else?
Doing the hard thing is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that response?
You said that steer car is your Laurel. What is your art? And when did you become his student?
I became apprentice to Duke Steer Car at Barron's Ball the last time we were able to have Barron's Ball, whenever that was. Maybe it was. Yeah. I think so. Both Sig and I, Baroness Sig from Willsmere, Wastekeep. She and I were both taken by Steer Car on the same day. And my art is currently everything. Currently, I'm working on leather because I can, and I taught myself how to do it. I didn't do anything. I wanted to be able to do it. I couldn't tattoo professionally anymore, and I wanted to be able to change the way things looked by using a stylus and some sort of mechanism. And so I learned to do that, and I'll continue to do that. I got some, like right now I'm currently, let's see, this is a spearhead cover for Baroness Isa, and I'm making her some, and then axe cover. Most of them are off of, like, this is off of the stone axe from Gotland, Denmark. Yeah, Jotland, if you want to say it right?
I would say Gotland. I know I'm wrong, but that's the way it's spelled.
Hey, if you put a J, it's a yeah, and if you put a G, it's a G, right? Yeah. And then I think I put this one online. So This is another one from a church somewhere. I just find pictures of it. Some of the stuff is off of like things from the digs and whatnot, Oseberg and things like that. And I just remake them in leather. Any medium is, pardon me?
Was that a book?
Yes, this is a book that I made. I'm not going to open to the front page because I was supposed to have sent this off to its new owner. They don't know it's coming, so I'm going to leave that part out. But so yeah, I did the binding in it, and I did the gluing in the back ridge, and then I hand stitched it into the spine, and it's got birch wood. It's birch on the inside panels to keep it hard, and then I used some felt that my wife had on the inside, and then on the back, it's got the title and stuff on the back of my little maker's stamp. So yeah, that was my first one. I never made a book before, so I thought I'd make a book. Oh,
Cool.
I like to make things, and I like, I talked to Steer Car because I've done, I don't know, 4 or 5 different things so far. I want to do all of them, and he just, I think he likes that, and he laughed at it, and he said, just keep doing what you're doing. He goes, you're like my little butterfly that goes from here to here to here to here, and he said, keep doing that, and I like that. I'm good with that, and I think it was the best thing on the planet to become a knight before I wanted to become a laurel, because if I become a laurel, great, whatever. I just love art. I've been an artist since day one, and that's what I did before I could hit people with a stick. And so I like to take things and turn them into things.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all.
And you have a lot of talent too.
Thank you very much.
Your modern art is beautiful, and your tattooing was beautiful. You were very gifted.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think I've been reading a lot of books, and I just got done reading the Hagakure. And while if you can get rid of all the social structures of what they expected ladies to do in feudal Japan, some of the things was really, really cool. And one of the beliefs behind it was that you are what you are first. You are samurai first. You are always a samurai who also does poetry, who also paints, those things are what makes you samurai. And so these things make me, well, they take my time, and they take effort and patience and a little bit of dexterity and a little bit of, gentle and attention to things. And that you can use that, I think, in life too. Become a better person, a better knight, better laurel, better whatever, by applying the things that bring peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a good old ass kicking fight.
I don't know if this ties into that because I don't know what this means, but somebody's asking, what is your take on Spanish, Japanese, Vikings? Is that a joke?
My take on Spanish, Japanese, Vikings, this axe head cover is it's going to have a leather for an actual axe cover, and this is being made for my friend Snorri, who modernly is from Spain, who also wears Japanese armor in the SCA, and they on the crew, guys and gals started calling him Snorri. So he's my Spanish Viking from Japan.
Okay, so he asked the question. So yeah, all right, cool.
Spanish Vikings from Japan. I would say the response to that is Spanish Vikings from Japan need to go back to Ireland, and then he should laugh at that.
Do you have any students, any squires?
I have 3 squires. One squire has moved out of kingdom and is he's fostered to Sir Orion, Orion. He and I have talked on the phone. That would be Ronan, and he is currently working in Astoria, I believe is where he's at, and living there and doing well for himself. I get good reports on him. I have another squire named Fitzroy, who lives Fitzroy MacLean, who lives over on your guys' side of the hill. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. That's all for now. I have a man-at-arms who is happily raising his family and doing well with that, as he should be. And then I have another young man who will someday, when we are standing around again, he will be squire to me as well. And that's Hamar Haxon.
I like him. He's a really good guy.
And Clark.
And Clark. I can't forget Clark. I may get throttled by Sir Rainer at some point in time. So. Oops. Yeah, and so they're all probably chomping at the bit. I send them videos when I can and send them, we talk back and forth and talk some fight and talk some stick and talk some life. And yeah, it's good. They're both family men. And so we have a commonality that we can talk about when they're pining away for not being able to be in armor.
Are you guys doing any like Zoom practices or anything like that? Critiquing videos of each other or anything?
So I have been sending some, like I said, I'd sent some to Fitzroy and I'd done some for Hamar as well. I don't know that I did any for Ronan. But yeah, they, what was the question? I got on another.
Pell practice.
Oh, the videos. Yeah. So, well, what I was going to say, I apologize. Yes. So I'd been sending them just little tidbits here and there. And we were talking back and forth. And then I was on the phone not too long ago with Steer Car. And I said, yeah, so I was doing some videos and I sent them over to Fitzroy. And he went, so you've been doing videos? I'm like, yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Shit. So now we're probably going to do more, which is cool. I mean, we should. It was just an idea because Fitzroy had asked me, what am I doing with my feet when I go blah? And I've taught at Sport of Kings. And so I thought, well, just pretend that there's a student over there. So I took my phone and set it on a stump and I did like 45 minutes worth of, or half hours worth of stuff for him and sent it to him. And he seemed to like it. He seemed to adapt to it. So, I'm doing the best I can for my squires. I'm trying to uphold my end. Kind of.
We have to be creative right now.
Yeah. Creative. That's a good word. I don't know about creative. I'm fucking bored. All right. So sorry. Yeah. I tell you what, I've done so many push-ups and so many pull-ups and so many, I counted them 9 books last year, excuse me. I read 9 books, totally feel amazing. And I haven't been like hiding in a hole under my desk or anything, but I've definitely had more time and our house has gotten a lot of remodeling. So that's been nice, but holy crap. I would very much like to see people. This is amazing. I'm happy to do this and for people to see that I'm still alive or whatnot, but man, I miss my friends. I miss hanging out. I miss hanging out. Yeah. It's hard not to reminisce. And those, I think maybe that's the favorite times, the reminiscence of when I tried to beat up Ulfgar with a great sword while he was sleeping and, things like that, where you're like, just the goofball stuff that made those weekends kind of, like, wow, that was fun, ?
What is your favorite no shit there I was story?
So Ulfgar was sleeping in his bed, or so I thought. And no shit, yeah. So that was supposed to be funny. I actually did try to, I was inebriated and I swung a sword at my knight's bed. Luckily, he was not in it. I think I don't know. I think I have a lot of no shit stories. Maybe other people would be better off. They tell my stories better. I usually tend to embellish or forget the real things I did. Like I've done some things.
What's your favorite story about somebody else?
You've got to have a good Gurn story.
Yeah, Gurn and white gas is my story.
Oh my God, right? Flaming Gurnin. There's been a few. A lot of them have happened at crew. I know the rule captain. We'll leave that there. I did. There's some cool stuff on the Cloak of Fame. If anybody from crew's ever wearing it, those are always great stories of no shit. There I was. There's some fire on that one. Might involve Gurn and some other folks. But one of them on there is there's an arm sticking up out of the water holding a trunk like a treasure chest. At the ship crew event, we host a race every year called the Race for the Horde for our guests, and people put all kinds of things in these things, and then crew members, especially people like Duke Tiernan, the encyclopedia of all things historical, and so he'll come up with these races, and having Jorg teach you how to make flint or how to make a fire out of a tinderbox, and then you get these clues along the way, and at the end we got this big chest, and so usually we hide it somewhere. Well, one year I was with Dagar, and we went to hide it. And I really wanted to be hidden, like really well. Like if somebody was going to go get it, they were going to work for it. And so Dagar and I went around this pond, and where the water comes out from the mountains, the snow, the runoff, it fills up in these ponds. And they're, I don't know, in some places, I don't know, 8-10 feet deep. Most places are like 3-4 feet, but mushy. But it's glacial water, man. It's snow. It's literally melted snow. And so it had made this cool little series of a fjord and some islands. And there was a tree on one of the islands, and I couldn't not go out there. And so, and this is April, late April in the Cascades. And so in front of Dagar, I stripped down to just the bare bones of it, and took that chest that had to weigh, I don't know, 40-50 pounds worth of stuff. And I held it like on my, so that the weight was on my forearm, and put it up on my shoulder. And I started walking out of there. And, God bless Doug. He knew I was going to sink and probably die, but he let me go. He's like, "You're doing good, buddy. You're doing good, buddy." And then the world went dark. It was just dark, and the coldest I've ever been in my entire life. I couldn't, and I wanted to take a breath in. And what had happened is I just stepped into that mush and sunk. But I'm thinking of this chest that it's going to get hidden all right, like in a real fjord forever. And it's holding me down to the bottom. And every time I kick my feet, I get up to about eye level above the water and sink back under to my death. And so all I could think to do was just keep hopping and hopping and hopping and hopping. And when I came out of water on the other side, I was like, I just looked like the bog monster, man. I mean, just green hanging off of me and mud and shit. And but I got that chest, and I stuck it in the tree, and I was like, yeah. And I mean, I felt like the champion. And Doug was like, all right, now come on back. I didn't, that's that whole halfway trip, right? Yeah. So I would say out of the millions of stories that I've probably done, I'd say that's a good no shit there. I was all right.
So did somebody follow you and go get that chest?
I believe when they went to race for the horde, I believe Brecca is the one that got it. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen Brecca, Tiernan's other squire. He's built like he's built like for fighting. I mean, the guy's he's got a physique for fighting, which also makes him a very physical person in doing things. And he hit that water, according to some, he hit that water doing 100 miles an hour and barely got wet. I mean, like he pawn rocked across the top of it, which just pissed me off. He did worse on the way back though, I guess, because he had the weight of the trunk. But at that point, the race is over, right? You've got the trunk, and but yeah, I was mad to hear that. I was like, so did he get no, he just went right across the top. Well, he's stupid. So.
You get to be the pond scum thing.
Yes. So, and then every time, so the no shit there was, that's what is on that cloak, is the cloak of fame. And somebody does something, or something amazing happens, and you get that, they do a little presentation, whatever, and you get to wear that for a year. And so that's why I got to wear it, because I was the dumb shit that jumped in the water. So.
No hypothermia.
Nah, maybe a little brain damage, but I think I walked away okay. It was already cold outside when I got in, so
So Andromaca wants to know, what level wizard are you now?
Yeah, I would say, I'd say shut up. Andromaca hits people with chairs, so we don't have to talk to her. I prided myself. I was a level 9 wizard. And I think I'm a lowly mage at this point. I'm like a lowly. I don't even make it on the dice. If there was a dice for me, I don't even have a 9-sided dice. I have no beard. I had a mustache that I burned off, and then I left it off because combat Amish, as my wife calls me. You look like a combat Amish.
Lachlan, how did you burn your mustache off?
It's a funny story. Yeah, it was only half. I should have taken a picture. I didn't. My vanity took over. We have a firebox in our house, fireplace, and I was leaning over instead of opening both doors and sitting down and putting it in like I would tell my sons to do. I was leaning over the top and putting it in from the front, and I leaned a little too far forward, and rather than fall against the hot door and burn myself, I just kind of fell to the side. Well, when I fell to the side, that log went in, and I went right up by the embers, and it took about this much off. So it was really cool. And I could have done from this side, and then this side, and then this side, and then this side.
So last weekend or the weekend before? Like we had our first sort of real court that wasn't just like baronial changeovers or sanctions.
Weekend.
Yeah.
His Majesty spoke at length about you, and about how you sort of started this thing, and I think you sort of gave him a way to sort of, I don't know, like facilitate like some connection with the populace, and he was very, very thankful. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
The on-tier smolder. See that? I only do one a night because I don't want to freak people out.
Oh wait, can we have an instant replay?
I said one a night, people. God.
There we go.
Right? Honestly, I was just, Christian and I are I would like to say that we are friends. When he says, I love that man, I love you right back. And he and I we are friends. And I love that he works out, and I love to poke at him. One day I eat healthy as well, but I'm thinking, what does Christian eat? Well, I bet he doesn't eat this. And I put like plain Greek yogurt with peanut butter and half a like cut down the middle cucumber. And I'm like, eat this to feel healthy. That was terrible. I ate it. It was good. It's not a habit thing, but he ate it. Heather said he ate it. He actually ate it. So I love to needle him a little bit, just because. Why not? And especially when you know that it's somebody that has the same outlook that you do, that you'd like to see some people smile and bring some joy to some things. And so I just figured he would be the safest target for me to poke at a little bit. And so I did my best to do the Christian. We all know he's got a murder face, but he's got that smolder. He's got that Christian.
He's like the long lost Hemsworth brother.
Haven't you guys watched Tangled?
Oh,
huh? Just a little bit more hair, Christian. I'm not big enough, but check it out. I work out, dude. You want some? Come on, Christian. So I poked at him a little bit, yeah. And so I said, you're doing it wrong. You might, if you're gonna smolder, you gotta smolder like this. And I put on my best cheesy grin. I grabbed some of my wife's hair product and slicked it back to the side, and it did a thing. It made people smile and made people happy and made them laugh and take pictures. And some people really, really took some cool pictures, and some people really took it off to take some pictures.
That was the bravest thing ever. So brave.
I was okay. First of all, the fact that it's not going to be in there is a crime in itself. I understand.
I think it's a crime too. Like, why isn't at least one of them in there?
Yep,
and dude, I'm telling you, I have pictures. I took some pictures. There. I think there's a picture of me with no shirt too, because I went out and took for this photo shoot, but they said don't show anybody, and that was one of Christian's things when he posted the whole. You guys saw the picture with the chainsaw? There's a picture like that. If you get the calendar, I think that's in there. If not, I'll post it when everybody starts getting their thing. Whatever ones they didn't post, I'll give them out to you. But yeah, it was just a thing that I wanted to pick at a friend, have some fun, and it took off and did exactly what it's supposed to do. I spread the little seeds and watch it grow. I'm famous. I don't know.
Well, that's cool.
So yeah, the on-tier smolder. It's the first and only calendar I've ever been in.
I bought one. I didn't need one. I already have 2 calendars for this year, but I bought one. Because I want to support the kingdom. But and the rest of you guys should buy one too, because I think they're going to be hilarious. Personally,
I think they're great. I think they were great. I talked with Christian about that too, also in private about it, and I just thought it was cool. I thought it was such a cool goofball thing to do. And then when somebody told me what was somebody said the man something. It was another. We were supposed to go look at like how men were doing it before, the boudoir thing, but for men. How'd they say that? I don't remember. Anyways, I went and looked at some of those. It was the same kind of thing, kind of a burlesque kind of photo, but for men. And they had on like suspenders and like yellow shorts. And I'm like, that's a bit far for me. I'm not going that far.
But Eli did.
You know what? And you know what? That man's got my vote. He should have won.
Well, he won in the hearts of the women of Ontario.
All of the women.
Absolutely.
Some of them.
I'll tell you what, the wallpaper on my computer is really nice.
somebody wanted to see the picture, so I actually have it downloaded to my phone, and I'm a little bit like leery that I have that on my phone, but I do.
Wait till you get pulled over. Wait till you get pulled over and you have to show the cop. You're like, oh, my insurance card's right here. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Anyway, Dudoir. Joanna's saying it's Dudoir.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
So, yes.
And if somebody does want to buy a calendar, Joanna Colgarba on the comments is the person to contact to buy one. So if you respond to one of her comments,
and I think they're still selling them.
I think so.
Yeah, she and Gemma.
Maybe she'll pipe up and say.
And they're only
Say something,
$25.
Gemma. Yeah.
So
Cough it up, people.
And I was told that there is a very attractive picture of Matthias in there.
Of Matthias?
Yeah.
Well, what picture of Matthias isn't attractive? I mean, come on, look at it. Sure, look at it.
My hat game. You have way more hats than I do.
I know. What's up with that?
I have hat food.
So, Lachlan, in addition to Steercar and Ulfgar, who are, your teachers and your mentors, do you have other mentors in the SCA that have really influenced your path and who you are?
Yes.
Who are they?
Oh.
I feel like I'm doing a deposition. He only asked the question I
was waiting. Asked and answered. Asked and answered. Move along. Yes, I do. I would say, without equivocation, I would say that Duke Skeggy, Duke Nukem, the Skegster. I would say Duke Sven. I would say Sir Devon, Duke Steercar, Gerhard Kendall of Westmoreland, and Vic. Yeah, Vic. Yes. Yeah, I think those are good people that I remember thinking about that. And each one of them have shown me both sides. And that's I think maybe that's what it was. They showed me how to be knights, and they showed me how not to be knights. I've never met her. I found a book and I bought a book. I read it a while ago. It's The Armored Rose. Have you guys ever read that?
That's Selena's.
I would like to meet her.
She and her husband are fantastic.
Wow, that's cool. That was a cool book. How I came by it, I have no idea, but I read it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I think there's tons more. I mean, because if you pick a kingdom, there's Duke Sean from Sean Alpenheim. Oh my God, that guy. Holy crap! And
you just have
said
to
it
say
early.
Duke Sean. Everyone knows who you're talking about.
Right. You just say that. I mean, and I think maybe that's when I get to go. Oh, when you say the words, like when you say Matthias, you don't have to add title. They know who they are. And so I would say that the list I have of my heroes is long and distinguished. Yeah, I mean, because I would say everybody from Dagar to my knight, obviously, Sir Ulfgar, to the newest of new people, to the person that walked in with the biggest smile on their face. That was, I want those people. But yeah, as far as the names, I would say that's a pale list. I need a book. I need a book to write all the people that I admire.
What keeps you going in the SCA? What keeps your interest?
Because it's as much as wearing shoes. It's as much as what shirt I wore that day. It's not a what keeps me going. It makes me sad when I can't be there or see my friends. But I don't need the acronym to be a Viking man. I know what it is to be a Vikinger, to go a Vikinger, and I know what it's like to be me. And I know what it's like to not be with my friends. And so the only thing that keeps me going is that's where my friends are. As soon as my friends aren't there, then I'm going to be where my friends are. And apparently my friends are right here, right now. So, hey.
They're all watching.
I could do it like my mom would do this. Can you hear me
there?
now? Your father's not regular.
Oh God.
You tell your mom, hey mom, you don't need a video to tell me that.
So let me turn that question around a little bit. Have you ever gone through a period of burnout in your SCA game where you just were not feeling it and needed a break?
I'm gonna say, I don't know why the date March 2nd, 2019 sticks in my mind. Yeah, living it. This was hard. I was one of the people when I saw the things come. Did you renew your membership? What the hell for? You know, I've been robbed. The planet took away my game. Lachlan's toys have been taken and stuck in a box in the corner, and I'm pissed. Yeah, I'm living it right now. And have I before? Yeah, sure. Unfortunately, when you take your life into the game at times, you can't help but rub elbows the wrong way with people. You rub somebody the wrong way. And imagine that imagine having a weekend to try to resolve some, thing between you and friends, and the only place you get to do it is because that's where you see them. So I think when I suffer burnout is when things get drug across the fence from the modern world into our playground. And I mean, it's easy to say I don't shit where I eat. Unfortunately, it's a big corral now, isn't it? So it's tough not to. It's tough to not bring that when that's part of your life. And so what keeps me going? There is no keep me going. This is where my friends are, and this is part of me. And so it's just like breathing, I suppose. It's part of me that keeps me feeling like a balanced person. But the suffering of the burnout, I guess, would be when it's not fun. When even though the things that I'm making, those are work. Those are you guys are crafts people. You know that by the time you get done making something, there's no, imagine trying to tell your friends, oh, I'm going to charge you by the hour for this piece.
Nope.
I made you this $3,700 bead. I hope you don't mind. Can you just write a check? I guess, yeah, there is no burnout when it's part of you, but it's hard not to be there when it doesn't look the way you want it to. It's tough. It's tough for me to consider having to walk in a gate wearing a mask. And there's an elephant in the room. The possibility that we have to go to events wearing a mask because of modern day things is a difficult thing for me to accept. But that's where my friends are. So we'll figure it out. I'll be where my friends are one way or the other. Wherever my friends are, that's where I'll be. Did I make that clear? I don't know.
Yeah. Cool.
How do you feel about your friends? Do you want to be where they are?
Really, I burn out on people really quickly. I always say that to people, I am the best weekend friend you'll ever have, because if you spend more than a week with me, you might not want to spend that long. You might not want to stick around. I have liked this. This is good. Don't hang up. Keep talking. I'm just saying. I just wanted to say that if anybody was sitting out there going, hey, I hope they ask me, or I wouldn't do that. That's too. This is actually okay. It's just for a person that was going, I don't know that I want to do this. This is okay. This is all right. It's hard. I'm gauging you guys as my audience. I need people to laugh. The microphone's always on, and my audience as of late is a Chihuahua. He's not here. He left.
Oh,
He's not hanging.
we love it when they visit.
Yeah, I know what he's doing. He's visiting with his mom. She's doing schoolwork.
Oh,
She's a smart one. What else? What are you guys going to do? What have you been doing? Stop asking me all the questions. What have you been doing?
this.
This is all?
I made that.
I'm looking at that.
That's Mark's new fighting gear.
Oh, he's going to fight in this.
That's going to be Octa's new outfit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I like that's the back.
That's the back. Yeah.
Okay, and those are
It's like-
lions.
This way is up.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's like it's an arrow.
It's beautiful, Dawn. It's beautiful, Shaxi. I'm just being an asshole.
No, it's true. It's true.
It is. So if he's the other way, we say they don't have a written word though, right? So you can't put this end up.
No.
That would be cool if you across the shoulders or something, this end up, put a FedEx shoulder in. I love it. And tell him I love it. And tell him
I can
Tell him
hear
I
him
love him.
laughing upstairs, so you have just told him that.
Oh, well, then if you're laughing at me upstairs just right now, just know I'm looking at your butt. Both of those. Those golden globes on your tuchus.
Do those pants have a cross his butt or no?
They do not, but they will, because I promised you that they would. So he likes to
wow.
show off. The current pants that he has have a bedazzled octa across the butt in like shiny bedazzly things.
Does he have a pair of sweats in his drawer that says pink across it? Don't lie.
No.
No?
Do
He
you?
needs some.
Do you?
But he's gonna have to now.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Do you? Are they pink?
Or does it just say juicy?
It says hot with 2 T's. Hot.
Oh God.
It's hot. You know it's hot. I have some new fighting stuff, but it's mostly all soft kit because I put on more heavier stuff underneath, and so but I've got some cool. Dana's done linen. She learned to sew linen. She learned from Cara, who came and taught her. So I got some cool linen stuff, and fighting with some linen underneath. I should have been doing that earlier because holy cow,
Breathes
mind blown.
so well, yeah.
Right? It's like you just That's a real piece of the flag of Ontario.
Did
This
you
is
cut
real.
it?
Nope.
Oh.
I stole it. I didn't steal it. Eric gave it to me at Estrella.
Is it a Thrones favor?
Nope. Well, I don't know. He gave it to me at Estrella. He gave me he tied there's a picture of me at Ontario West. No, excuse me. Estrella war, and that was tied to the end of my pike. And at the end of the day, the flag got torn. It was the king's flag that he carried, that they carry for him out on the field. And this got torn off at the end of the day. And he walked up and it was rolled up and he said, "Lachlan, I think this is yours." And he threw it at me. So I just stuck it in the trunk. And there was actually 2 pieces of it. And so I gave a piece of it away and kept the other piece. And so I wanted to hang that up to say hi to Eric that I still got it.
Are you gonna like make it into a pennant, or
I'll probably give it away.
you should like applique a little lion on it or something? It could be like your little lion banner. You could like slide underneath your regular banner.
I could do that. I forgot that I can put checky stuff. I always forget that you can add stuff to it. I was putting on my armor, I was doing a leather vest and I was tooling in my device on the front, and I thought to put the chain around it because I could do that. And I was like, oh, but I could put checky around it. And now I'm like, now it just looks like a kaleidoscope. I need to take it back down to
Or a target.
Yeah, no, it's like you're gonna hit me.
Well, that's why he got checky on that. Same
I
thing.
see it on the. Oh, I'm pointing like I'm touching your stuff, Mark. I'm touching your stuff.
The side of the legs, and then it's all up on the
That's amazing.
It's all there.
Good job. What about you, Missy? Or excuse me, Sir Rifkin? What have you been working on? Don't lie.
I've been making a ton of crap. I've been working on my fighting. I've been working on losing weight.
Working on your fitness.
I've been working on my work so that I can pay the bills. I've been doing a lot of work.
Been working.
Yeah, I've been working.
She's
Good
got her
job.
full-time job that she does, and then she does the full-time interviewing job. And then
This is gonna say. I was gonna say this is getting to be a little full time now, isn't it? You guys are doing more and more.
Yeah, actually, I am on 98 dupes now, so I told myself I was going to do 100. So I have 2 more scheduled, and then I have a couple more after that, but they're going to be like more sporadic. So I'm actually going to be cutting down. And then we're going to do that show that I've talked to you about doing an episode.
Yeah, good idea.
Talk about
Good
that
idea.
more, Rifkin, because people don't know about that yet. Or are you not ready to unveil it?
Well, we're going to do like, I don't know if it'll be weekly, but maybe twice a month. We'll do something about like, little things you can do to improve your kit. Like we'll do an applique show. We'll do maybe a helmet bag show, how to make one of those hoodies I make because they're super easy, but they look really cool. Lachlan's probably going to do a footwork episode. Atias is going to do an episode on putting metal decoration on your armor. Octa's going to do an episode. Like there's a ton of the knights have stepped up. Onto your knights have stepped up, and also Susanna and I are going to do some sewing episodes about how to improve your soft kit and what you can be doing now, on a smaller budget, and things that are super easy that aren't difficult to really get your kit looking better.
Nice.
So yeah.
In preparation for when we can be back in person.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
That's a nice pinky action you have going on
I
there.
accept your guys's things. Well done.
I want to be fighting more, but
Yeah.
motivating myself and my husband has proven very difficult. So
That's always hard. I think Dana was really good at helping me when I would, because we have such limited people up here sometimes. Garvin's nice to have, but sometimes he's gone, and especially right now we're not doing anything, but it was always nice to have, somebody within proximity. But Dana was always good for at least my defense. She's like, don't hit me. But she'd stand out in the yard and I could catch shots all day long. She was really good. Yeah, she was really good when I got put on vigil for knighthood. I think she probably hit me, I don't know, 24 times before I got a buffet.
have you practiced your buffet with your wife?
Not because I wanted to.
How did we not get to that in this interview earlier?
I'm sorry. Yeah. So I got put on vigil and we came home and she was like, so what do I do? How do I help? I'm like, well, first we got to get you some cool looking stuff and some beautiful, make you look awesome up there. And Ren, Duchess Ren, that I should have added her. See, I'll come up with things. Alden and Ren, heroes. Those are my favorite peoples.
Yeah.
But Alden dressed me when I got knighted. And then, so they were going to make all these things for Thorhalla and everything. And so she's like, but I mean, how can I help you? And I said, well, there's nothing really to do. I said, really up till then, I mean, we'll sew some stuff and put some things together and then we'll do our little walk in and I'll get smacked. And she's like, oh, that's right. You're going to get a buffet. And I was like, yeah. And she goes like Vic's a big guy. Yeah. Yes. He's a big guy, honey. Like, I mean, have you seen his hands? You're not helping. And then I think I don't know where I was coming around the corner from somewhere. I was working out back maybe. And she goes, I know what I can do to help. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And she goes, so hold this. And she handed me something else. And so I took this and it was a bag, like a Walmart bag. And I grabbed it by the ring and I said, okay. And she went and just wrapped me one right in the jaw and then ran. And so I'm like, I chased her into the house and that's how it went for weeks. I got put on vigil on May Crown and was there until coronation. And holy shit, she slapped me so many times. Just buffets out of nowhere, just these stealth attacks. And she wouldn't do it like, are you ready? Like I'm doing dishes or cleaning out a thing and I'll lean over and put something in the dishwasher and sit up and she's standing there and she goes, hi, and smacks me and runs off. And then the last one was Thursday and we were leaving to go to Crown. It was like 16 and a half hours to drive to where we were down south to go to coronation. So I was in the shower and I was getting all ready. She's like, are you nervous? And I'm like, no, I'll be nervous tomorrow. Today's just driving. And she goes, well, here's a reminder. And I was washing my hair and I heard the shower curtain open. So I got soap, shower, arms up, and I went and opened one eye just to see the Swede. And she gave me a good one. It was a good one, a shot right in the chops. And then she told me she loved me. That's her. I'm cute.
I wish that like somebody had told Vic and Inga and they had let her like do a buffet before he did the buffet.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious. But
I took the whole buffet thing was so serious to me because you go back to when I was younger and you don't put your hands on me and the bravado and nobody's hitting me. And then Vic's going to be my king and my sons were going to be there. And it's funny what you decide you're going to do when I get knighted someday. And then all of a sudden you realize that your sons are watching. And so when Vic said, so how are we doing this? I said, look, man, I know this is a game. I love it. I love being here, but this is a real moment for me. The words that I'm about to speak are not a lie to me. So, if you're going to hit me and my kids are going to watch their dad stand there flat-footed and go, everything he ever said, don't do. I never told my kids, if somebody goes to hit you in the face, you just stand there with your hands on your belt. I never said that. So I said, if that's how it's gonna happen, make sure it was a good one. And it was. It was so good I couldn't even tell you what it was like. It was a good one. It was fun. David knows.
Yes. Well, no, he doesn't.
Oh,
I know.
we can't share. We can. Yeah, you know. Yeah, that's how that went. But yeah, the buffet's up to the buffet.
Well,
You got buffeted by Davin, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, he broke
Yeah.
my tooth.
Nice.
Our
Got
mom
the tooth?
thought he was going to hit her with a sword.
Oh,
Yeah, my mom was really worried, and I'm just like, yeah. But people don't really like. I thought I was prepared her, but people really don't prepare for what exactly happens. Like, because you see it and you see it and you see it, and it's just sort of rote, right? And then people come in and like, what are you letting him do to you?
I've been punched in the face a lot before, both because I didn't want them to, and then when I did more structured martial arts. And there's no way. The one thing that always was my favorite joke. There's no way you can train how to not, get hurt as bad in a body punch or whatever. All kinds of things. You can't train to not get knocked out. You can't. There's no way to train for that one. It's just going to happen. And the only thing that you do know that makes it worse is that if you've been punched in the face before, you're like, I remember this. This is going to suck. This is going to suck only for a second. I think it's a good moment, though. Honestly, I don't know how anybody else feels about it. I like my buffet. It was a good moment for me.
I
think everybody should.
My whole thing is it should be ceremonial. Like, we don't need to,
hospitalize people.
Macho man each other.
Yeah.
But
and I think that's a good gauge for anybody. Know your limits. I would like to say that I could drive a NASCAR, but I can't. I'd like to say that I could take a full-on punch from Vic. I can't. So feel free to throttle that back a little bit, right? Or anybody. I don't want to get punched by either one of you. Punch me. What else?
Well, we've been going about 2 hours, so we should probably wrap it up.
I feel like I didn't say a damn thing.
You did. This was a great conversation. I was very engaged, and the audience seemed to be engaged. So
back to the
Thank you.
Did you get through all your
for
hats?
having me here.
Did you wear all the hats you wanted?
I think so. Hang on. No. We got 4 more.
Remember when
we'll just do it.
Maybe
we'll
I'm
just
dating
do them.
myself, but do you remember when REM was like nominated for all those Grammys and Michael Stipe wore like 100 t-shirts?
He did. Yeah, and they just kept pulling them off.
This is what this reminds me of.
This is what this is like.
I like that one.
Look at this one. I got this one from the Queen.
Which one?
It's my little
Prince Albert.
Oh yeah. Hey. Morgan and Livia.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll put this on. I left the tag in it. I never get to wear this one because I have to wear it like a yarmulke.
Oh.
I have to wear it back here. Isn't that nice? Yeah.
So is there anything that we didn't cover, Lachlan, that you want to say?
I love everybody. I like everyone. I wish we all got along and we all had the SCA in my backyard. Yeah, no, I mean, I could go on forever. Anybody that knows me, I love my night. Thank you guys for doing this. I love my friends. I love my crew. I miss you all. I don't anticipate that this is the real world for us for forever and for long, but this is the reason that people like me, you, ship crew, everybody that came before me, everybody that's going to be around after I'm dust, all those people that love this game so much is the reason that people like me feel like they have a place. And so I don't know, for whatever that's worth, I miss my friends. I miss my game. And I wish that we could be together soon, and we will, and yeah, whatever. I don't know. How do you end this? I'd like to thank the Academy.
Well, we're going to thank you for joining us, and then I'm going to say who I'm going to talk to this weekend. And this weekend, I'm going to talk to Duke Connor Visen of the West on Sunday. Really, the guy's hit me harder than I think anybody ever has in the ribs. He hits like a truck. And then next Wednesday, Shaxi and I are going to be talking with Duke Sven from Montier, the last Sven that I have not interviewed.
Met him.
He'll be Duke number 100 as well. So
Oh, wow.
he's one of my favorite people. So that should be a fun interview.
I met him once. He's a good guy.
He's okay.
He's all right. He's handsome.
Also on Sunday in the morning, I am interviewing a Laurel from Drakenfeld. Her name is Leonette at 11 a.m. on Sunday before Misty does do Connor. And then Tuesday, I'm interviewing Agnes Whitby from Artemisia. She is a glass bead maker.
Oh, cool. Who is Grace Under Pressure going to do Monday? Do you know? Gwen. Oh, Gwen from North Shield. She's a countess, Countess Gwen.
Okay.
Gwen Bar, yeah. She fights. She's a go-getter. She's a Laurel. She's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, thank you again, Lachlan. This has been super fun. And I hope we get to fight this summer.
Thanks for having me. And yes, I would like that very much. And keep on keeping on. Keep trucking.
Cool. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.